What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'll be creating a watch list, basically SPY and QQQ, but these levels apply for NQ and ES as well. I trade them on both futures and options. So if you guys find value out of this video and enjoy this process, make sure to subscribe and like this video. Okay, so we first start off on SPY and on the hourly time frame. As we can see, price is trading higher. We are at all-time highs, and we're looking to see if price can continue this week. Off the bat, I'm really seeing one thing sticking out to me, and that is this previous high and this previous high, and price just broke above these previous highs, right? So this area right here is going to be a good area of confluence. This area was used as resistance on higher time frames, and now finally price is breaking out and retesting it into this week's trading session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a thinner line, make it dotted. Therefore, I know that's a high time frame level and that is an important level to be watching into this week. Let's call it 565.5 to 565 even is a high time frame level that I'll be watching. Okay, so we have this previous high of last week, 572.97, so basically 573. We have these previous lows around 561. Notice I'm marking all New York trading session levels. I'm not marking any pre-market or aftermarket levels. And let's see. On the hourly here, we can kind of see some type of trend forming. Not something I usually use or look at, but depending on where price sits that day, I'll mark, trend lines. For right now, I'm going to keep that off my screen. Let's go down to a 30-minute time frame. Okay, so we have this low down here too, so I'm going to mark this low as well. Ultimately, if price trades lower, I would expect price to come down to this 540 area where it will probably hold the most liquidity. And the reason why I say that is because off of this area is where we could see that price actually make a large move to the upside, right? So we could assume that this area here ultimately holds the most buyers. So when price trades down to that, it's more likely to sweep that level and fuel the market back up because there is a lot of resting orders down there. That 540 area is what I'll be watching if price does trade lower this week. All right, let's move down to a 5-minute time frame. See, I love to use pre-market lows and highs. Obviously, we can't see that yet. That session is there. I'll mark out the pre-market highs and lows to give me some more clarification whether price wants to trade to the upside or to the downside. Basically, all I do is look for a break of one of the two and look for a continuation above or below them. But this looks really solid so far. So first, we're going to be looking for price to hold this 565 area. It's a high confluence area, so depending on where we open up and depending on where we trade to, this can be a good area to watch moving into this week. Now, if we trade higher, I'll be looking for price to trade above that previous high and sweep that high. Maybe we can find an entry to the downside with a liquidity sweep and fair value gap. If not, if we see a big momentum push above all-time highs, what we could look for is a retest of this 572.97 or 573 even, and look for a continuation higher. Now, lastly, if we fail this 565 and we move down towards these previous lows, we could look again for a liquidity sweep fair value gap to make a move to the upside. Or if we fail with momentum, we don't have anything stopping us down towards 550 and then 540. So we could look for a retest, take it down to 550, and then even take it down to 540. So for right now, that's all I have on SPY. And like I said before, these levels do apply, and I do trade ES off of my SPY levels. Again, you might not want to do that. It's something that I've done for a long time. I have over $500,000 worth of funding, and I've gotten multiple payouts. So it definitely works. But all right, that looks good. Let's go over to QQQ. So looking at QQQ, we can see price is lagging behind. SPY is at all-time highs. QQQ is not. We can see price is making higher highs and higher lows, but we're just not at all-time highs yet. So what I see here is price could easily drop and back down to this trend level and bounce again. I don't usually use trend lines, so I'm going to take that off, but they are something that I'll keep in mind. But this is an interesting chart. I don't really see many areas of confluence. I do see just this area in general has been an area where price has chopped around and made a decision either to the upside or to the downside. So it will be crucial that we hold above this area and start to trade higher if price wants to attack that previous high. But for right now, in the beginning of the week, I like to just go with key highs and lows to target. So let's zoom in a little bit. We have a previous New York session high here. That would be the main one we target. And I think what we'll do is we're going to mark out these, area of confluence, which is a previous high from last week as well. So we'll keep this dotted just so we know it's an area of confluence. It's kind of the way I like to do it. Okay, so let's go to previous lows. We have these previous lows here from last week. Let's go normal, another previous low here. We're good with that for right now. Okay, so we have some of the levels marked out. Let's go down to a smaller time frame. Let's go down to the 30 minutes, see if we can find anything that we didn't find already. All right. All right, so we look good. Let's go down to the 5-minute time frame. Again, like I said before, a lot of my strategy comes down to the pre-market highs and lows as well. So we'll be watching those areas moving into this week. Obviously, we can't get them now. And then we're going to go down here to the 5-minute and just use previous trading session low as a marker as well. Okay, so we have a lot of previous lows mapped out. We have a previous high mapped out and another previous high / confluence area mapped out. So again, my strategy is simple and QQQ looks really good and primed for a move higher, especially if SPY can just remain with some strength. It doesn't necessarily need to go up, but if we could just see some strength up there, I think the lagging behind QQQ can catch up a little bit and start to make some nice moves this week. If not, obviously, we have our downward levels that we would like to see price trade towards. So my ideal plan is if price breaks and holds above this area of confluence with some strength, we see some good continuation. We look for a retest and move towards this previous New York session high, where we can then see a liquidity sweep and then fair value gap, and then look for a move lower. QQQ again to the lows. If price breaks these previous lows, we can find a liquidity sweep here and then a fuel back up as well. So we can watch that. But if price makes a push and large move lower without no hesitation, we could look for price to sweep this previous low around 470 and then start to look for that liquidity sweep and move higher. And if all of this fails, right, if we have a large, massive push and lots of momentum pushing us to the downside, we could look for a retest of that area and then a move down to the ultimate target where the most liquidity, in my opinion, will be resting. And that's around this 451 to 450 area where we can then see a lot of buyers probably step in here and make a little bit of a move higher. So that's the overall plan I have on QQQ. And again, these levels will apply to NQ and you could trade them just directly off of the QQQ chart. I've done it for a long time. It works. But again, if you want to chart them differently, it's up to you. But yeah, so this is my watch list for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoy the process of how I find these levels. It's really simple. Really, I look for New York session highs and lows, and I look for resting liquidity and where I think the most liquidity will be. So make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next week. And before I forget, if you want to tap in and be a part of Team Bull, the first link in the description down below, you can come join us and trade with us live. Peace.